who hit my car in my driveway so loud? So I get up, I go look around, and the adrenaline's rushing. I'm also low, so like, is there someone in the house? What happened? Where'd that come from? I go through the whole second floor. I go down the stairs. I slowly turn around each corner. There's no one in any corner. I go outside and look around my entire house. There's nothing. There's no car crash on the road. I'm just like, all right, don't know what that was. And I don't, and I was awake. I'm not making this up. It shook the bed, loud rumble sound. I talked to my
Mm.
neighbor who was outside. He's like, oh, you heard that too? I was like, yes, what was it? He's like, I don't know. It came from your house. I'm like, thanks.
Yeah.
So I was just joking with him, like, I'll let you know if tonight I see two kids staring at me through the window or anything. Yeah, that was right as I moved in. I was unsettled. 'Cause I'm like, is this gonna be like a recurring thing now? Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Unfiltered Pineapple Podcast. This is your host, Orik, joined today by Ari and Matt. How are you guys doing today?
Yeah,
Hey,
maybe
Orik.
there.
Doing well.
Yeah, good to hear. So, at this time we're recording it, we just had a couple holiday seasons go by. You guys enjoy your time? You have some fun moments? Enjoy family and friends, or was it just driving you crazy the whole time?
Mostly driving me crazy.
Bro,
That's
I'm
normal for
tired.
you, though. That's normal for both of you.
Yeah.
I'm
All
more
right,
tired than usual, is what I would say.
gotcha. Took a lot more attention than normal.
Yeah.
I will say, just because I've been there recently, I know that you're still going through the last of the desserts, Matt. Um, I can't guarantee I'll help with any of those, but I did like everything that came before what's left.
What do you have, Matt?
There's only some cookies left, but we did just make a Kentucky Derby pie tonight.
Another one?
Before we just did pecan.
Oh,
Tonight we
that's
actually did
right.
the Kentucky Derby. Chocolate
Okay.
pecan.
Hmm.
Yeah. What'd you end up making again? Like 12 sheets of cookies, 3 pies, all sorts of stuff.
We had 2 pecan pies, 2 pumpkin pies, chocolate chip cookies, thumbprint cookies, peanut butter cookies with Hershey Kiss on top, Divinity, walnut white fudge, normal chocolate fudge, pretzel treats, chocolate dip pretzels, so on and so forth.
Diabetes.
Pretty much.
It was all for one meal. Yeah. Well, anyways, a little bit of nice, happy talk aside. Time to get a little dark today. We had we want to go into a bit of a creepy zone today. Nothing horrifying.
uh,
Not nothing like gruesome and rated R and scary, but enough to get the goosebumps going and put a chill down your back. Um, we were talking before we started about a lot of like creepy pastas that we've recently
mhm.
seen, or even real life cases of missing persons
Mm.
and 411 cases and things of that nature. So one of the things I was hoping to start off today is, have you guys heard about staircases being found in forest in the national parks?
I have actually seen a couple things about that, yes.
What have you seen about it? I've probably done a bit more research into it than I need to.
Yeah, the only thing I've really seen about it was pretty much just a warning of do not go up them because you do not come down.
Wait,
Yeah,
so what are these staircases like towards? Like
Nothing.
where do people find these?
Just out in the middle of a forest, random stone staircase.
brick staircase, wood staircase. It's just a hunter in the woods, maybe some park
Uh-huh.
rangers looking around for something that fell or
Hmm.
missing. and they just stumble upon they're walking down a path, or not even on a path. Sometimes they're just literally out of nowhere, and you look to the left, you look to the right, straight ahead, and suddenly a staircase is just sitting in the woods, dilapidated, covered in vines. Sometimes they're pristine, supposedly,
Hmm.
like
Okay.
someone just dropped it off. Um, some of them are as short as like 5 steps up. Some of them look like they go as high as 2 stories, but they're never attached to structures. They're all just staircases in the middle of the woods that go nowhere.
Hmm.
So, yeah, some of the stories I've been looking at recently with the uh, staircase ones. Granted, I'm pretty sure this is a creepypasta. I've only seen it kind of discussed on forums, but I haven't heard it officially referred to as a creepypasta. But basically, it's a known thing amongst national park employees, the ones that go out into the forest and service members that they all know of, but they don't talk about. One of those taboo things where, oh, Jimmy did that once. We don't talk about that kind of a scenario. Some of the more interesting ones I've seen are, like Matt said, sometimes people go up, and the theory is if you get to the top step, you get warped into a portal to another dimension, or you just disappear, and they don't see them again. Or they come up, they find them again days later, maybe just a body, maybe just their clothing somewhere else in the woods, and now they're just gone for good. Um, that's not as believable. There are some that claim that as they've walked up the steps, they've gotten severe health complications, and then when they come down, they have like terminal cancer or some
Hmm.
other sort of like major health complication, cardiovascular disease, whatever it is, things that didn't exist before they climbed the staircase. Um, yeah, I'm not going to go into a lot of the stories right now, but it is fun to just read how, I talked to this guy at a bar. We were out there in the wilderness of Nebraska, and we
Hmm.
got. I was out. He was talking about how he was hunting one day, and his buddy never came back down 30 years ago. It's just a lot of fun, dumb stories like that, enough to put a chill on your back. You got no stories yourself of that nature, Matt. You just know the topic.
I know the topic. Closest thing to that I've seen or actually experienced myself years and years ago with my grandfather who took us out hunting. Random old dilapidated house in the middle of a field, grass about shin high, so still overgrown, but yeah, just walked into the house, like we walked around it. Everywhere's perfectly like just flat grass around. Walk into the house, there's only the beams across, there's no actual flooring. Just explored that for a while. After we leave, we went in through the front of the house, it came out the back, but like I said, we had done a loop around the house and it's flat everywhere. Once we came out the back of the house, there was a mound in the backyard that you could see with vines growing up on a fence. We went into the fence, and there is an entire like family to two families worth of graves just that we swear were not there before. That's the closest thing to that I've dealt with.
Oh, that's the kind of we didn't know that was there. Moments that just make me get enjoy stories that bring chills down my back. The ones where it's like there's a surprise that wasn't there. Horror stories of people in the cabin at night and they hear tapping on one wall, they hear tapping on the other wall. They go outside and there's no footprints anywhere, but they know someone was tapping on the window or on the door. Those are the kind of surprising chills that always get my I can't say the goosebumps going, but it gets me excited. It gets the adrenaline starting to pump like, oh boy, let's see what's next. Are you a fan of horror movies, Ari?
Yeah, I like a good horror movie. Something that definitely like sends shivers down your spine. Definitely.
These
Huh?
uh, yeah, so these stories don't bother you at all. You just don't research it on your own for fun.
No, I'm not really a fan of like. I mean, like, can you really believe these? Come on.
Well, I mean,
There's always some sort of explanation behind it. It's never something unexplained.
Yeah, there's always an explanation. Sometimes it's paranormal or supernatural. No, there is always an explanation. It's just a matter of figuring it out, which actually ties into a nice segue right there to the topic that we really wanted to talk about was I mentioned it earlier, missing 411 cases. These are people that just go missing out of nowhere. Sometimes they get found, sometimes they come back to society, um, but every time they literally just disappear at a moment's notice, a snap of a finger. You're walking through a field with your buddy. You looked back, you talked to them. 5 seconds later, you look back, they're gone. Not in the clearing, not in the field, they're gone. Um, those are missing 411 cases where people just disappear. There's a lot of them out there. There's books, there's YouTube channels, there's other videos, contents, movie, all dedicated to just talking about missing person cases. And
Hmm.
it's just such a fascinating topic, I think. It is upsetting. There's people missing, families that are hurt, communities distraught, but it's such a fascinating topic to think about how in reality everything can change so quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? Is there anything that could explain it away? I mean, I can't just imagine, being out in the middle of somewhere, with my friend, and then they just disappear. I mean, there's got to be something
So,
there.
yes and no, and I'd like to just talk about a general category real quick. Obviously, each case is going to be different. There's a difference between losing the sight of a kid that goes running off into the woods at a party versus you're on a hike and suddenly your friend disappeared and you're in some dense brush. It's like, well, that one's easier to hide and get away from someone. Um, but from what I've seen with quite a few, so let's talk about kids with the missing 401s. Maybe you have a family that goes camping. They're setting up the tent and the kid goes walking around and then they don't find the kid, so they file a report. There's a big search party. They can't find them. It's very rarely a negligence thing. It's never like,
Hmm.
oh, I don't care what happens to the kid. It's more of like they're within earshot. I'm busy. I can keep track of them. Or maybe you have a hiking group, walking up a trail, a 5 mile trail, 2 mile trail, whatever it is. And they separate into small groups. Someone goes ahead, someone falls behind, and then they're never seen again. Um, a lot of them aren't like, you know, intentionally just trying to get rid of someone when it comes to the kid ones. It's just a matter of something happened, people got distracted and didn't look back or didn't think about it. That's usually what it is from what I've seen or heard. I feel like I didn't answer your question there. But when it comes to the adult ones, a lot of adults that are missing 4 to 1s, it's usually someone is off alone and they don't come back when they say they will. And then it's a matter of retracing their steps to figure out where they went, what happened to them. Um, and the creepiest ones are where people are found or the remnants of them are found in distances that are unfathomably or inconceivably far away or impractical. So if you have someone who's on a ski slope and you lose sight of them, you'd imagine they're still on that mountain, not the next mountain over. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? Um, so that's what a lot of the missing 411 cases end up being is people that just disappear and are found, if at all, in a place where they shouldn't be.
Hmm. You have any specifics that you want to talk about?
Uh, there was one that I'm trying to recall when it occurred. I think I'll just skip those details because I have to look it up. But there was one I actually listened to this last week, and another person I heard recounting the story, and it got me interested in that topic. Um, this one was
Yeah,
about. Hello?
yeah. I was gonna ask like what happened.
Oh, okay. I thought you were about to add on to it. I was like, oh, you know this story. Okay. There was one where a family was at a party, a family gathering, and they had a 2-year-old son who was, just running around, talking with people, doing, what toddlers do. And the kid, at some point, everyone watched him. He was just chasing around the family cat outside, and the cat was running between people, and so was the kid. And then the cat went along the line of the next to the woods, and the kid did too. They came back, all that kind of stuff. At one point, the father came looking out because he had been in the house for the last, I don't know, let's say half hour. He came out looking for his son, and all the people out there like, oh yeah, he's chasing the cat, and he's looking around. He doesn't see a cat. He doesn't see his kid. So he keeps asking, and then suddenly he stops the party. He's like, I can't find my kid. I need someone to help find my kid. And everyone starts looking around, and they realize the kid probably went off in the woods. So then they all start searching. At that point, before people even went into the woods, he had already called 911 and, filed a missing persons report to get the police involved and get everyone, you know, looking in the area. It's a 2-year-old, 3-year-old. He can't go that far, right? um, so they start searching up and down the block. The police are in the woods, looking through the woods, and this is where I forget the details because it's been a couple days. But basically, the kid wasn't found um, right away. So they had separate search parties. You had one group that was, at the woods. You had another group that's like, you know what, why not? We'll just, start 2-3 miles away and make our way towards the location. Possibly intercept the kid as he's walking through the woods or wherever he is, right? Go ahead of them and meet them halfway kind of a mentality. So
Right.
they're about 3.5 miles away. This is, let's say, if I recall correctly, this is about 2 hours later. They're about 3.5, 4 miles away, coming in through the woods, and they get to this point in the woods where it's kind of like swampish. It's got the mud. They have their wafers on, and they're going through all this sludge, mud, water kind of mixture,
Hmm.
and it's like knee deep, waist deep that they're treading through as adults, full-grown adults, 5, 6+ feet tall.
Hmm.
And about another half hour into their search, they're still in this swamp, and they see what looks like a person on an island holding onto a tree in the middle of the swamp, and not just like an island like like Hawaii. But you get what I'm saying? Just like a dirt mound that's sticking up with a tree coming out of it, something
Right.
that's clearly a dry piece of land.
Hmm.
A
Like a
sandbar.
sandbar. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So they see that and like that looks like a person. They call out like I forget the kid's name, but let's just for the conversation's sake say Timmy. Timmy, Timmy, and Timmy calls back. I'm here. And like, oh my God, that's Timmy. So they start making their way over to let's call it the sandbar. And as they get closer and closer, the water gets deeper and deeper. They're at like nipple height. They're up to their arms and shoulders in this water, treading over to the kid. And they finally get to the island, and they look him over. They make sure he's safe, and they realize he's dry. Like they were just swimming to get there, and he is dry as can be. So they pick him up,
Mm.
they rescue him, they carry him over the water so he doesn't get wet. Don't want to hurt the kid or anything. They bring him back. They notify everyone else. The police show up, the family show up, they pick the kid up, and they, you know, happy ever after. They're happy about that. So a
Hmm.
couple days, everyone's just happy the kid's alive and they found him. A couple days go by, and the parents are thinking, you know what? That was weird. And they ask him, what happened to you? Why are you dry? And all those kind of questions, what
Right.
happened? You were gone for a few hours. How did you end up there? And the only thing the kid could say was, I was trying to avoid the cows, so I kept running. This is a 2-year-old. And his reaction was, I was scared of the cows, so I just kept running. That's all he would say
Scared of the
about the matter.
cow.
It's cows, plural. I was scared of the cows, so I just kept running. That's all he would say about the matter. And you know, what are you going to do? It's a 2, 3-year-old. He's not going to give you a lot of details. Oh yeah, I put on my wafers. No. He's going to tell you what he saw, and that's all it is.
Hmm.
Um, so those are examples of missing 411 cases where it doesn't make sense how it all happened. Like this is a documented thing that happened. The kid went missing. Report was filed. Search party engaged. They identified where they found the kid, brought him back, how long it took, and it's just not plausible how it all happened. Obviously, the scenarios are, foul play. If you really want to go that far, teleportation with something paranormal, which isn't backed by anything. So yeah, the most likely thing is, some sort of kidnapping, and they left him there so they could come back and get the kid later, which begs a few more questions. Who was stalking out that family gathering in the woods and stumbled upon the kid, and what happened to the family cat? So, those are some of like the somewhat chilly stories I've been looking into the last few days that just had my attention.
So wait, they didn't find the cat?
I don't know. The two stories I read up on this, no one talks about the cat. So I'm just like, what's going on here?
The
I feel like
family
if the
never
cat
had a cat.
what?
Yeah,
Okay, that would actually be a lot crazier if like the cat was never found.
I guess I have to do some more research into this, but no
Oh
one talks
man.
about the cat. They're all worried
The
about the kid.
I'm assuming they found the cat. That's
I
why they're
assume
not
so
talking about
too.
it.
I
Either
assume
that
so
or
too.
either that or it was just like, some stray that, happened to come across, but hey, who knows?
But yeah, I mean, obviously the weird part is how do you get their drive? But the other weird part is what would a 2-year-old see that reminds them of a cow, and all they do is run for like 2 miles,
That is,
supposedly.
yeah, that's creepy up and on itself, like just imaging like or imagining like, that this kid is running and from what he's describing it's like cows like, that are chasing him. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, like cows, like they're not the type of animal to ever want to do that. They're,
they're
you
not
know,
predators.
well, yeah, that's one thing, but also just talk about the fact that like cows, they graze, like that's all they do. They don't do much of anything else, like so just to be nefarious in a way of like going after a kid, it's yeah, that's very creepy.
Well, do you remember like did the story go off on like where in the world this was? Was it in a rural area where cows would be common, like on
Look,
farms or
well, even if it is, Matt, my whole concern is what kind of cow makes a kid run for 2 miles?
oh, I mean it's a 2-year-old child and the cow is fucking massive. If the kids could have after chasing the cat, walked up and smacked the cow and it got annoyed at it and started chasing him. That's a big ass animal chasing a small ass child. Or could have been a bull, another bovine.
Hmm.
They're more territorial. Definitely
Yeah.
could have chased a kid. So there's depending on where it's at, if actual cows were a possibility, could make sense.
Uh, Let me try and take a look real quick. You guys try, talk about that another story real quick, and I'll see if I can find the details. I know it was in America. I can't remember where. Let me try and
I mean,
retrace
I'm
my
also
steps.
imagining like if it was a 2-year-old, like I would imagine that like a hawk or something would be able to pick it up and then drop it like on an island or whatever, because like their kids aren't that heavy. And an animal the size of a hawk could probably, move them. Um,
Here it is.
that's why it was in dry. It was dry.
Back in 2010, missing New Hampshire toddler found clinging to tree in swamp. A missing 2-year-old boy in Richmond, New Hampshire was found clinging to a tree in a swamp around 2 a.m. on Sunday, 11 hours after he was last seen. Um, so it was New Hampshire, Matt. I'm
All
surprised
right.
I found that so quickly. All I did was Google.
Um,
All I did was for anyone who wants to do it themselves, just Google 2-year-old found in swamp.
yeah, and I mean New Hampshire, there are decent amount of farms and over there. So if it is in the rural side of New Hampshire, yeah, he could have actually been scared off by a cow starting to chase him, possibly a bull. He could have started with that and then just
Hmm.
kept going because, I mean, if you're scared of something and you're actually running, if you're smart, you're not going to slow down to look back.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of 411, a lot of missing 411 cases. Like I said, they don't all stay missing. Some people get found and brought back, like the little kid. There's another one of what was it? 3 kids, a 7, 4, and a 3-year-old. That I have to look this one up too. This was a few decades back in let's say the 50s, 60s time period. Um, a family they just got to the temp site at a national park, and they just started setting it all up. The kids were playing around the perimeter of the campsite, and they went into the woods and were coming out, back and forth, just playing hide and seek and stuff. And then the parents noticed it was silent for about 5-10 minutes, and the kids weren't there. And they went looking one of them went looking real quick, and the other one immediately called for a missing persons report with the local sheriff and the national park. So a search party got there very quickly. Um, I want to look up the details of this one. Long story short, it was another long amount of time that passed, and they found the three kids hiding inside a log about 3.5 miles away, uphill, let's say like 7,500 feet. Some like
Hmm.
unreasonably high number. Like they ran uphill 3.5 miles, tiring, cold weather kind of stuff. I think it was like 2, 3 days they were gone. They were missing because, yeah, let's say it was 2, 3 days that they were gone and missing because when they were found, another one of those like random search parties, like let's just go extra far and make our way back. Was out there and they found them out there in the area. And when they found the kids, they asked them, why are you here? Why are you hiding? Because they wouldn't approach the adults either. Like, hey, we're here to find you guys. Your parents are looking for you. The kids came out and like, okay, we thought that you were with the what was it? We thought you were with the bear that was chasing us. This place is known to have bears. It's in the western part of the U.S. I forget what state. Again, I have to look up the story. I'm sorry, I don't have the details here. But uh, they're like, oh, you guys were chased by a bear. What kind of bear was it? How big was it? And they're like, well, it chased us with its friend gorilla. And at
A
that point,
what?
its friend gorilla. So for 2 days, the kids have been hiding in the log because they got chased by a bear and a gorilla that kept coming back to the area, calling out to them, looking for them. Like, where'd you go? We want to help you. Things like that. So that obviously the adults themselves are freaking out. Like, who's out here with these kids? Um, but eventually it brought them back. No one was ever found. Nothing else ever happened. That was another one of those scenarios where, like, how did a 7, 4, and 3-year-old run 3.5 miles away? And it's, if they're running for their life, that's very plausible. So
Hmm.
that's another kind of missing 411 case where little kids are scared of something stalking them, trying to kidnap them, and just out of
Hmm.
fear, they find a way to save themselves and get to a place that's just so, unpredictably far away or dangerous.
Hmm.
Well, you did also say that that was what, a couple days after the fact. Even a toddler given a couple days and an incentive to move in a single direction, they're gonna make it a couple miles.
Oh, yeah, well, they said they've been camping in that log for 2 full days. Like, when they left the campsite, they just ran straight and eventually ended up there. And then they just waited it out for 2 days there in that log.
Hmm.
Adrenaline's a hell of a drug.
Oh, I know.
Uh,
My thought also that since it's like out west, that probably the gorilla was the Bigfoot. That's my vote.
mm, mine's more along the lines of potential, like, because you said this was a known like campground area, right?
It was at a national park, yeah.
My vote would be something along the lines of kidnappers in animal costumes who try and either hide from any adults or whatever, just to like blend in as an animal
Hmm.
and going after the kids.
A gorilla though, really?
I mean, you get a
This might have
half.
been around the Bigfoot craze. I forget what decade it was, but it might have been around the Bigfoot craze of the 60s and 70s. So it's not uncommon at those times for people to say they saw people in gorilla suits in the forest because just
Ah.
kind of like the clown stuff every Halloween in the
Hmm.
East Coast and in the States. Oh, it's the it clown everywhere, ringing people's doorbells, staring in their cameras. This could have been just people going out there in the campsites trying to spook people with gorilla suits.
That, or I mean, heck, you get a gorilla suit at a distance and you get down on all fours. If you got enough padding in there, you can make yourself look like a small black bear.
I just want to point out real quick, Ari, when you said it could have been a Bigfoot and a bear, for whatever reason, you know that image of the two super muscular arms giving each other a handshake, a firm handshake.
Yeah.
I just pictured a bear's paw and a Bigfoot. Come here.
I like that. That's a true friendship there.
We're gonna get him this time. Just watch. By the way, if a Bigfoot was chasing them, they wouldn't get away. For all those, believe it or not, anytime you hear someone's story about a Bigfoot, those things don't move slow. If it wants to catch someone, it's going to catch someone. I mean, the claims of Bigfoot are, it can catch deer and snap its necks. It can, take 3 strides to cross a two-way road. It's just, that thing can move pretty fast. I don't think a
Huh.
3 and a 4-year-old would escape a Bigfoot, much less a charging bear. But that's why I have more assumption. It's not an actual predator. It's people in suits.
It's a child predator.
Yeah, yeah, the right, not right. That's right, the wrong type of predator.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, those God, I've spent well over 48 hours now, which just chills my back. Not in the sense of like I'm afraid someone's gonna break into my house, but you get into that heightened state of awareness, like, oh my God, anything could happen at any moment. This is how other people's realities are. So you hear a pop in
Hmm.
your house, the house settling. It's like, ah, great, who's there? Um, it's been great. I like being in this heightened sense of awareness. Um, do you guys like being in a heightened sense of awareness, or does that scare you?
I like to say that, or like I like to agree with Matt's saying that um adrenaline is definitely a hell of a drug. So I personally, I don't know. I'm not really a fan of just like being in a state of like adrenaline, like being like frightened. I don't like the feeling. Um I mean, I know some people love like, just to seek thrills, but it doesn't feel good for me.
What do they call them? Adrenaline jockeys?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, people who just like seek out to do stuff that are insane. But for me, like I'm just not like that.
What
Yeah.
about you, Matt?
For me, it doesn't happen too often. But there have been like several times where I'll be laying down, getting ready to go to sleep, hear a noise from the other side of the house that doesn't sound like it was made by one of the animals. So I'll get up, fucking normal American, plenty of guns. So I'll grab one of them and I will slowly start clearing my house.
One under each of the 4 pillows, right?
Eh, well, I mean, there's five sitting in front of me on my desk right now, so man. But no, like, so I'll use that rush of adrenaline of that's a sound that doesn't happen naturally, and
Mm,
use that to focus to clear everything, and there will be nothing that will have moved. All of the animals will either be asleep, outside, laying down, whatever. Nothing that would have made that sound that I can find.
right.
But I will still like I'll clear the house a time or two, and then so I appreciate the adrenaline at that point. But then once I've confirmed that everything is safe,
Clear,
clear, all the
yeah.
doors are locked, the adrenaline's still going. And of course, I was trying to go to sleep before. So
It
now
doesn't
I
go
have
away
the
that
annoying
quickly.
side. I have the annoying side of, well, now this is in my system and you
Can't do
can't really
anything.
force it to go away.
It's
So
Yeah.
while I like the benefits, I hate the fact that you can't just turn it off once you realize that there is no threat.
Hey Matt, I do have a question. You do have like the bathtub gun, right? You have it like on in your bathtub, anywhere
Oh
that
hell
is
no.
very, very, very
Grandmother's
quickly accessible.
grandmother still keeps kids. I can't keep that shit out like that. No. No.
hold
Yeah,
on, kids.
adrenaline
I
is
gotta
not
I gotta
fun.
clean the bathtub first. Get out.
Yeah,
Nah.
adrenaline is not fun when you can't do anything about it. Like you're just like there, just like well, now I can't go to sleep, or now I can't do this or that because like I'm
It's
vibrating like a damn Nokia phone.
it's much different when you live alone like I did for quite some time.
Mm.
Uh, it's like, oh, there's a pop. I guess I gotta go clear the whole house alone. Maybe I'll go find a bat downstairs if I need to. Let's go look.
Yeah.
Oh, the door's closed. Did I close that? Well, let's open it and see what happens. I've
Oh boy.
God, I have so many moments where I'm having to walk around alone, even in the woods. Just- so many moments where I've had to walk around in the woods alone, or in my house alone, or in some place where it's like it's clearly dark and someone could clearly hide. And I wouldn't call myself an adrenaline jockey, but that sense of adrenaline, not like, oh my God, I have adrenaline, but like I'm in the moment. Even
Why would you
after
be in the woods alone?
okay, we have stories to go through. Don't rush. Don't rush.
What? No, really. Like, why would you be in the woods alone?
Don't rush me. I'm going story at a time here.
All right.
Um, Usually it's trying to catch something that ran away. So the um I guess I'm not alone. I'm looking for something. Uh no, when I lived alone, uh the worst of it is like when right above you there's a pop or some sort, just the house settling or the wood cracking, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
all normal, except for when it's like especially loud. It's like, ah, dang it, please don't actually be something for once. Um, you're laying in your bed and it's let's say it's a Saturday or even just like a
Mm,
Tuesday night. You just couldn't fall asleep. It's midnight, 1, 2 a.m. I wake up at 6, 7 o'clock for work. I'm only going to get 3, 4 hours at this point. And suddenly you just hear like a metal coil spring. This just happened the other day after I'd been listening to all this stuff. I hear a metal
mm,
coil, a spring, just like that whole thing. It's clearly coming from above me. It's not coming from outside. And I'm
right.
just, and I mean like directly above my bed. And I know because I've been in my attic a few times. What's directly above my bed is just insulation and wood. I'm like, there shouldn't be any metal directly above me. What was that? Um, those are the kind of adrenaline rushes I hate because just like Matt, I won't go back to sleep for a while. You sit there silent and just wait 15, 30, 60 seconds. Like, is there anything to follow? Was someone sneaking around? And they're like, oh, did they catch me? Um, um, God, I know I'm saying a lot. It's just these things bring out the memories. What was it? Another quick story. When I first moved into the current place I'm at, it was like 2 months into being here. I start work at 8. I was telecommuting that day. And uh yeah, it was around 7:30, 7:45, right before I started work. So my alarm went off at 7:15. And I'm just laying there, just, letting the eyes wake up all nice and slow, just getting my day started, gentle and easy, don't rush out, don't make a problem. And and suddenly I'm just laying there and just this loud, and I mean rocked the bed loud, metal on metal bang occurred. Like, ha- you know, take a fridge and slam it on the ground as hard as you can. Just huge metal on metal crunching impact.
Hmm.
And, sounds like a car crash right outside my house, right on
Mm-mm.
my driveway, right outside my house. And I'm like, who hit my car in my driveway so loud? So I get up, I go look around, and the adrenaline's rushing. I'm also low, so like, is there someone in the house? What happened? Where'd that come from? I go through the whole second floor. I go down the stairs. I slowly turn around each corner. There's no one in any corner. I go outside and look around my entire house. There's nothing. There's no car crash on the road. I'm just like, all right, don't know what that was. And I don't, and I was awake. I'm not making this up. It shook the bed, loud rumble sound. I talked to my
Mm.
neighbor who was outside. He's like, oh, you heard that too? I was like, yes, what was it? He's like, I don't know. It came from your house. I'm like, thanks.
Yeah.
So I was just joking with him, like, I'll let you know if tonight I see two kids staring at me through the window or anything. Um, yeah, that was right as I moved in. I was unsettled. 'Cause I'm like, is this gonna be like a recurring thing now? Every couple months, just get a loud bang. So there's been a couple more things while I've been here at the house, but those are just a couple of those like few adrenaline rushes I've had just living alone.
Do you have any idea of like what it might have been?
The only thing I can assume, I don't think it was this, but it must have been. So let's say a couple days prior, I had someone come by to because I just moved into the place. I had a couple. No, I just had one guy come by. He checked all the furnaces and the crawl space, the attic, stuff like that. To get to
Mm,
the crawl space, you have to go through. You have to go along the driveway. That's where the
mm,
entrance is. And at the time, I still had. So when I moved to this place, there was an old gate hanging up, not hanging up, leaning up against the side of the house. You know,
mhm,
at an angle, just propped up at an angle, like 15, 20 some degrees against the driveway in the house, so it's not going to slide, move around, and it's still a heavy gate. Like two people, when I finally got rid of it, it took me and another person to pick it up and move it. Um,
right.
when he came here, because it was blocking it, I helped him move it, and we laid it down on the driveway. We never propped it back up because I didn't feel like picking it back up with him. I was
Mm,
like, I don't park this far. It's fine if it just lays here on the driveway. So that was the only thing that could have made that noise in the driveway. And it's a large wooden gate with a metal, hinge, or not
mhm.
hinge, the lock. That would be the only thing. But this was a large metal on metal sound. This wasn't like wood hitting concrete. So that was the only thing I chalked it up to, and that I still believe it was, even though again it never got picked up. I guess someone came by to steal it, didn't like it, dropped it, and ran. I don't know. But you got any more spooky stories yourself, Matt? At home, protecting the homeland?
Yeah, I do have one other one, but to bring it back to a comment that Ari you had mentioned before about the bathroom gun, I don't have one, but my brother-in-law does.
You
he
gotta be
actually
safe.
he actually hollowed out the spot behind his toilet paper dispenser, and he keeps
What?
a
Really?
revolver in it. Yes, he hollowed out and built a box behind the toilet paper dispenser and added hinges to the toilet paper dispenser so you can lift the whole thing up, and he's got a gun there. So if he's
Hey,
sitting on his toilet, he's got a gun within arm's reach.
you can't be caught lacking, you know? You gotta be
Nah,
prepared. Even
nah.
when you're on the toilet, like you never know when that'll when that'll come.
Yeah,
Oh
You're mid clench and pulling the trigger at the same time.
man.
yeah, yeah.
That Sorry to interrupt. That actually, I want to share this one real quick. That actually reminds me. There was one time where I probably would have felt a lot safer had I had a gun in the bathroom with me. It, so in college, my senior year, I was off campus with a roommate. He was at class for the next 3 4 hours. He was one
Mhm.
of those that scheduled, just back to back kind of things in the morning. It was like 11 a.m. I didn't have a class until 2 3 that afternoon. Unfortunately, that was actually the only time they had that class. But anyway, so I'm taking a shower at like 11 a.m. and I'm in the bathroom. And just because I have a roommate and we have one bathroom, I lock it whenever I'm in there by instinct. I turned off the water. I'm drying off, and there's a knock on the bathroom door.
What?
There's someone knocking on the bathroom door, and not like calling out like room service or anything, just like, and I'm like, who is it? And no answer. And they knock again. I was like, that's not
Oh
my
no.
roommate. That's not my roommate. So, with the total confidence that I'm about to die, I did my most baller move ever. And, with the towel on, I unlocked the door and just opened it. My phone wasn't in the room. I was like, this is the only option other than they break in, and then I'm scared. I was like, I'll just face death. I'll just face my death. I'll be a man. I open it up, and it's the guy who came to fix the laundry machine I didn't know was broken. And he's just standing there looking at me like, yeah, I'm here to fix the washing machine. I'm like, well, this is the bathroom.
You couldn't have responded.
Exactly. And I was like, wait, how'd you get a key to the place? He's like, well, your roommate wasn't here. I didn't know you were here. So I got the grounds keep The guy who, like, because there's an apartment complex. He's like, I got the groundskeeper to come open the door for me so I could take the service call. I was like, and you heard the shower? He's like, yeah, I've been here for about 5 minutes, and that's why I decided to knock. It's like, all right. And that's what I'm saying. That's, I can understand being on the toilet and being ready. When you just turn off the water and 2 seconds later, there's a wave of emotions. There's a wave of fear that comes over you. Like, no one ever knocks when I'm here, and I'm the one initiating the conversation.
Yeah, no, at that point, you take the towel, you sling it around your shoulders, you grab a shampoo bottle, and you swing that door open, leg spread.
I
Bottle,
I had
bottle arched
I
back.
I
Oh my
had
god.
no fear, and I had no intention of fighting back. I approached that with like, "This
you
is my fate. This is my
you
fate."
accepted your fate.
I That's one of like 6 moments in my life I can account for just being like, "This is my fate." But that was like the scariest one for me because that caught me off guard the most.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to imagine, like, what if, like, they knocked differently? Like, I heard the right,
I
but
should
like,
have.
what if it
I
was just
should
like,
have.
what if it was just like, open the door, like
Yeah,
type of
Just that
knock,
slow ass thud,
or
thud, thud.
there's so many ways this could have been even funnier. Like they're red, like let me in, or or like they knock you, and I immediately just knock back, freak them out.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's so many ways it could have gone differently, but I was like, you know what? I've been through enough. This is just where my fate takes me. We'll just see where I end up.
Yeah. The only other creepy thing, other than like I mentioned before, just random noises throughout the house, was when I actually moved in with your brother. Me, my grandfather, and him, we're all there showing my grandfather through the house. Everything's fine. We just get back down to the bottom of the stairs and we hear glass shatter
Oh
upstairs.
no.
Shit ton of glass shattering. We're like, what the fuck was that? We call out for him. He's out. He's bringing someone in, so it's just like, okay, me and my grandfather at the bottom of the stairs. He's outside. What the fuck just happened upstairs? We were just there. We walked back up, and that was when the like entire glass door to the shower in the master bedroom just
Hmm.
shattered and all collapsed to the floor. It was
Wow.
perfectly fine, no cracks, nothing when we went up there because I literally had just finished showing my grandfather that. Just come downstairs, and then all of a sudden, it's like the thing fucking just exploded outwards.
Like, what type of what? When did this happen? Like, was it like in
Is
the
this like
winter or summer?
a gas buildup somehow? Heat expansion?
I've no idea. It's the first day that I moved in with your brother. I
Hmm.
can't remember when exactly it was, but like, I mean, it wasn't a really cold day. It wasn't a really hot day. It was a normal day.
Hmm.
And like I said, we just got back down to the bottom of the steps. We see him like walking up the sidewalk, getting ready to bring another load of stuff in, and then boom, crash, and just the sound of destruction coming from upstairs.
And that's when you moved in. So, I
Yeah, pretty
mean,
much.
Welcome aboard, boys. Welcome
you, you
aboard,
know,
boys.
you know what, Matt? I think that you can attribute that to your aura. I mean, there's
Hey,
nothing else to explain it.
It got intimidated real quickly. You just shut it down so fast. He's like, I'm done. I'm not doing
It's
this.
like, no, I'm not servicing this guy. No way.
that wasn't even the bathroom that I used. That was the one in the master bedroom. I never used that bathroom.
Oh, did I tell you guys I also had a break in?
Hey, you also
Oh, you had a
got a break in?
break-in?
Yeah, not what you expect though. Um, this was this
What?
was a
Was it
yeah,
was it an
a
animal? Did an animal break in?
this was a couple months ago. It was again right before I started work at 8. It's like
Hmm.
7:30. No, it was after I started work. It was around 8:30, 9 o'clock, shortly after I started work. I just hear a thud in the kitchen downstairs, and then
Hmm.
something hits the window, and then I
Oh
hear a
no.
drawer open and slam. It's like there's someone down there. Fantastic, great way to start my workday. So I texted my boss real quick, like, "All right, been nice knowing you," and then I go downstairs. No one else. I just like out of nowhere. I'm just like, all right, been nice knowing you. Have a good day. And I go downstairs. And I don't mean like slow. I'm like, I'm just dealing with this. I've had enough near death moments in my life. I'm just dealing with this. Whoever's in here.
It's like who
And
who
I
the hell's making all this noise?
yeah, and I do that. I walk down the stairs with like a bit of a tantrum. And I walk around the corner to the kitchen. And I'm just staring dumbfounded. There's this, you know, bird just banging around in the kitchen.
Oh, a bird.
A bird. And this is one. This still pisses me off to this day. I don't know how. This is like the late fall, like November kind of time period. Getting
Hmm.
chilly out. All the windows closed and locked. All the doors
Hmm.
closed and locked. There's no open vents. There's nothing for it to get in the house unless for some reason it flew in through a furnace, broke through those things, and rebuilt it. There's no open hole to the house. There's no vent large enough. It's not like a
Wait,
rat where it's not like a rat where they can squish themselves through small gaps. It's a bird.
wait,
Like
wait,
a
wait. Don't you have a chimney though?
yes, it's blocked.
Yeah, the
It's
chimneys have a
closed.
metal piece in them that rotates to lock it.
It's closed and
Huh.
locked. I haven't opened it since I moved in. And it's got another gate in front of it with no access through. Um, and I
Sounds like
looked
the
there.
bird just spawned there.
Yeah, it was a missing 411. This is where it popped up. It climbed the staircase in the forest and came to my house.
It
No,
clipped out of the back rooms.
it clipped through the wall. Yeah. So I'm sitting there just staring at this bird for 30 seconds in my house. Like, in my mind, like, I guess I know I got to open the back door, but what do I do between here and then? Because the kitchen leads to the back door. I was like, I'm not gonna go walking through the kitchen with the bird that's freaking out. So like, I'll walk out through the house. So on the way out, I open up every window and door that I pass so that if by chance it doesn't stay in the kitchen, it flies out if it moves to a different room. As I walk around the house on the side of the house by the kitchen, the bird, I can see through the blinds. It's just like, it knows that's the outside. It's just like banging its head fiercely on the glass, like, let me out. It looks at me through the blinds and stops in the stairs, like, oh no, I've been found.
Yeah.
And then it goes right back to banging its head. I get around through the back door, and this is my favorite part. So I get to the back deck, I open the door, I throw it open as quickly as I can so that it knows that something's there and it sees the open and it feels the wind come through. And I look to the right, and just over the fence line, if my neighbors are out there taking their dog out, I can see their heads and we can talk and have a
Hmm.
conversation without having to talk through the fence line. My neighbor's out there with her dog. She looks at me. I, she looks at me, and I'm just looking right at that. I look back at the house intently. She just watched me walk to the yard, throw open my door, and look inside. And she looks away. Immediately, the bird flies out. She looks back. The bird's already gone. And I'm just standing there like, hey. And I close my door and walk back into the house. No explanation, no conversation. Like, cool. Great start of the day. Best part, my boss never addressed the text.
I was about to ask.
Never responded. I called him later days, like, yeah, I got that, but I know your life, so I just figured you'd message me back anyway. He's like, how often do you get a message like that from me? He's like, never, but it's you. I was like, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, one of those fair enough moments.
Yeah. So that was the break-in I had. I still don't know how. I still don't know how.
Yeah, that's crazy. Uh,
You've never had an experience like that, Ari, that freaks you out at night or during the day, and you're in like a heightened sense of awareness, and it lasts you for hours.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I do have one. Like it was nighttime, like I was in my bed. I'm just like watching YouTube and like I just hear like this like loud bang, you know? And like in my mind I'm like I know something fell, but I'm just like what on earth could fall like, cuz like it was a sound of like iron falling on the ground. And I'm just like what could that be, And I was by myself and I'm just like, damn, like if I have to like confront a burglar or something, I'm just like, I don't have time for that. But
You don't have the
um,
same confidence I do you?
I'm just like, I don't have time for this. You know, it's like it's late. I should actually be sleeping, but instead now I have to figure out what's going on. So
By the
like
way, sorry, I just want to clarify
uh,
real quick for anyone wondering. I don't have a weapon. I literally just walk into all these things with my hands and feet as they are. I don't grab a gun or a weapon. I'm just like, look, this fight it is. I don't know. So
Yeah,
go on.
I'm the one
Sorry.
with all. I'm the one with all the firearms.
I just wanted to clarify that real quick for anyone who's concerned.
just had to make a demonstration to all of the audience,
Oh yeah,
well armed. Um, yeah, I mean, audience members, yeah, he's
I'm
armed,
strapped.
very but just to agree with Orik, yeah, I don't have a firearm in my house, so um, I grab my. I have like a tennis rack set here, and so I just grab like tennis racket, and
This racket ain't gonna do shit.
It's gonna do more than what I had.
look, like at least we all know, like if you bring that to a gunfight, you're not gonna win. But just for my own mental, I don't know, like this is a band-aid, I guess. I
Fortitude.
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't, tell you how much security gave me, but it gave me very little security, going out. And so like I walk out and like I start like turning on the lights, it's just it's creepy when everything's like dark and you can't see anything. And even worse when you turn on the lights and you don't see anything. You don't you're looking around, it's just like what the hell fell? Like, there's nothing here to make that sound. I go in the kitchen and like this is where I thought like I heard it too. And I'm just like, there's nothing here. There's nothing on the ground. There's nothing. It wasn't until like I walk into like the pantry where I see like, okay, like there was like a large like cast iron skillet that fell, and that's what made the really loud noise. But the thing is, like, that is on a shelf. There is no explanation as to why, like, that would be on the ground. Why it would fall, like, because like it's on a stable shelf, and
Did it fall straight
you
down, or
know
was this a different part of the room or a different room? I don't think I caught on to
it
that.
was no like so the pantry's not that big. It's a square. It's about like I would say like maybe a 3 by 3. I don't know, but and the shelf is like right against the back wall. So like there's a door in the front and then the back wall, and so the skillet was like right there at the door.
Hmm.
Like that's about like 3 feet away from where it's stored.
Like
So it's
pushed
just
off.
like so it's just like how the hell did that happen? Like I couldn't explain it. I cannot explain it to this day, like what happened because you know it was on the shelf. Like and there's nothing to be able to like, throw it like right in front of the door.
No
I'm
reason
just
it should have moved.
and there's also no reason as why it should have moved. That's
Be-
honestly like that's the scariest thing that's probably happened to me recently. Like, and I still don't know how to explain it. I'm still trying to figure that out in my mind because like the shelf is like it doesn't move, and I don't know. There's no explanation to it.
I have. That reminds me. You mentioned like 3 feet away. That is like exactly a story I had from when I was, let's say, 10. Um, not the skillet part, but something moving 3 feet. Uh, and at this point, spoiler, I just kind of chalked it up. The only thing it could have been was a ghost. Like I can't find any other plausible reason. Maybe you two can help me find something here. But I was playing games, so growing up at my old house, yada yada. I was sitting in the let's just call it like the living room. It was just an extra game room kind of a thing. But I was gaming in there with my siblings,
Mhm.
uh, my younger brothers at the time, and we're sitting on the couch. So to give you perspective, imagine you're staring straight. You're against the back wall on a couch, a 3-seat sofa, looking straight ahead, is 5, 6 feet ahead. is the TV entertainment system with the TV and the game system plugged in. And
Hmm.
then to the right of that is the doorway that leads you to the office. It's the only way into the room. So the way the house was, you walk through a hallway, you go into an office, and right behind that is a game room that we later converted to another bedroom.
Hmm.
In that game room, so where I'm on the couch, at the end of the couch, on the right side, I'm on the leftmost seat. The rightmost side is a nightstand, kind of side table thing, and the window right above it. Closed, locked, blinds closed, everything. And then the only other windows on the opposite side of the room, all the way on the other end. Um, we had a remote control car that was kind of put aside right at the edge of the couch on the right side in front of the window, but not being used. And the controller was to the left next to me. It was a remote, battery powered one. You turn on the switch, then you can push up, push left, make it move around, all that kind of stuff. So while we're playing games, we just look to the right, me and my brothers, and we see the car slowly moving forward 3 feet, and then it stops at the door of the office, and that's it. Doesn't back up. And my brother looks at me. He's like, "The controller's out of reach, isn't it?" I'm like, "Yes, it is." And that's all we know. It could have. Someone's like, "Oh, it's the wind." The window was locked and closed. It could have been a draft. What kind of draft pushes a car 3 feet? Um. So yeah, that's my 3 foot story. If you have another idea, let me know. The only thing I could chalk it up to is a friendly ghost being like, "I want to play. I want to play."
Either that or
There's no slope.
now, if by chance the car itself was still turned on,
No.
um,
Batteries died, which is why we stopped using it.
I don't know.
The battery suddenly revived and it just started the
Yeah,
car and then
I
it
guess
died
it had
again.
juice. I guess it had juice. I don't know. Sat
I
there
don't know.
quiet for 30 minutes. I don't know.
Eh.
That wasn't an adrenaline rush, but you did remind me of that story, Ari. That's all I wanted to share with that. You don't have many adrenaline rush stories, do you? You don't have yourself wandering in the woods alone. You don't have yourself. You don't have a kidnapping story, a stalker story at all.
Um, like when you're put on the spot, you can't really like think of like some instances. I mean, I guess like I could the one
If
that
you
comes
have
to
a
mind
moment, you'll.
the,
If
the,
you have a
the
moment, you'll
one
remember it.
the one that comes to mind is when y'all made me ride the roller coasters at Busch Gardens. That's one that comes to mind where I was
That's
like
not scary. That's yeah, you're kind of mind going, but that's not what we're talking about.
Hmm. I haven't
Yeah,
been in life or death situations to be able to say.
I'm the idiot that puts myself in them. Not like bungee jumping, but
Hmm.
like as I said, all right, let's just let fate take the wheel. Um, yeah, you asked about Alone in the Woods. Which one? Which story do you want?
I mean, why? Okay. You said you were alone in the woods, so you were looking for something, but what were you looking
Yeah,
for?
my pet ran off.
Oh yeah.
uh, that was what was it? Where was it? We
I.
were in West Virginia. I was in West Virginia for
Hmm.
an extended trip hiking through those mountains. What is it? The Allegheny Mountains? I forget. It starts with a G.
Appalachian.
No, not Appalachian. It's like a park. It's a state park up there. Federal park? National park? I don't remember. I can look it up real quick.
Either way,
Um, yeah, but so we were
A
up
national
there,
park in West Virginia, yeah?
northern West Virginia. Yeah. Um,
Are we
we
talking
were
about like Harper's Ferry area?
no, not that north. We're talking like woods. Um, like you're going down a slope of a mountain for 25 minutes just to get to this little shanty of a gas station that doesn't work, and then you're going to keep going another 25 minutes to get to the nearest town kind of place. Rural mountain,
Hmm.
West Virginia,
Gotcha.
near the good hiking trail. Yeah, the ones less traveled. So, um, it was like I don't know 1 a.m. and the dog wanted to go outside. It was fantastically 8 degrees outside, not including wind chill. So, like a genius, I decided to go out with shorts, t-shirt, and a jacket. I didn't think we'd be too long.
Hmm.
Um,
As you would.
that's normal for me, yeah. What's not normal is the fact I was out there for like 25 minutes. Because, long story short, I had one of those moments where I was stepping over some like snow that was on the ground and some ice as we were walking over to the where we were staying at had like a place dedicated to pets so they can go use the bathroom and there's the dog things and whatnot or the poop bags and all that stuff. That way you're not just like pooping in someone's backyard. It was like a resort lodge kind of place in the mountains, just a Airbnb kind of stop. Anyways, we're at the woods section and uh, I stepped on like this large rock and I started twisting my ankles, so I started falling and I let go of the leash with my hand because I was falling on that side and I used my hand to keep myself from hitting the ground. And when I got back up, he thought he saw a squirrel or something. The dog didn't bark, he just took off. I'm like, great,
Hmm.
I didn't bring my flashlight. I only have my phone, which isn't going to do so much compared to an actual flashlight. So I'm yelling at him, come back, stop, come here. I didn't put the electric collar on him either, so it was just me and him, who's faster, who's better. So I'm
Hmm.
running into the woods after him, and I get out there, and I finally catch him after like I want to just say it was only like 30 seconds, 2 minute running, but it's straight into the woods. Like I know the way out, just turn around, but it's straight into the woods, and I just catch up to him, and he's just sitting there staring at me like. All right, you're either playing with me or you see something. I don't I don't like either of those ideas. So I put the leash back on and he's very hesitant to move. Like, oh great, he sees something behind me. Um and at this point my flashlight's not seeing anything, but you get that like at that moment you get that creepy sensation on your neck like, is there someone out here? Why would someone be out here? Is there a predator out here at 8 degrees at night? Um So that was a very concerning walk out of the woods. Like that whole minute, the flashlight can't see past anything. It's thick brush that I ran through. And it's covered in snow everywhere. You can hear the snow falling off the trees, which occasionally sounds like a stick cracking or a crunch.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the most concerning like minute or two I've ever had walking out of the woods. Because the dog
Damn.
was also scared for whatever reason. Like, you're the one who ran in here. Don't be freaking out with me. You're the one. um,
Turns out he was running away from something. Dun dun
what
dun.
Ooh.
whatever it was. He wasn't once as soon as we got out of the woods, he was all peppy again. He shook himself off. It's like, all right, let's go do that again. I'm like, no.
Hmm.
um, that was one time. What was another time? Another time I was completely alone. Yeah, I was at Pocahontas State Park completely alone. Yeah,
Ooh.
I still remember those eyes. uh, cross country track. Occasionally you're off running alone, and this is like middle of the day, like 3 to 5 after school
Mm-hmm.
kind of hours and stuff. Sometimes you're there as late as 7, depending on what you're doing for practice. But I was with a group of people, and we just had such a strange encounter. Anyways, I was with a group of friends, and we ended up taking a wrong turn on a road, uh,
Mm.
or a trail, I should say, not a road.
Hmm.
And how do I put it? It ended up being 12 miles. It was supposed to be 6. So like they tapped out at 8, 10. Like, I'm not ready for this, and they're just walking. I was like, all right, I'll go run ahead, and I'll go make sure the parents know that you guys are making your way out. That way, they're not calling the police on us, right? Responsible, because I'm the only one with energy to make it back. So that's what I do. I continue running another 2, 3 miles, and I get back to the parking lot with all the parents, and I literally walk up to the coach. I'm like, they're alive. I just finished 12 miles. We took a wrong turn. I'll go back and get them. Hold on 1 second.
Did he hear that?
No.
Yeah, sorry. There just sounded like gunfire outside my house. Fantastic.
Oh no.
Just,
Yeah.
I
just,
I think
just like a bang, 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 bang right
yeah.
outside on the road.
I don't actually live that far from you, and I heard the same thing. I don't know what's going on out here.
Well, I
Okay,
didn't hear it in my direction, so it's definitely down y'all's side.
cool. So if you heard it also, that means it was farther away from me. That makes me happier. Okay, so back to my story. I don't have another life or death situation now. Great. So I'd already talked to the coach. He's like, "We thought you guys got attacked by a bear or something." I was like, "Nope, they're just being slow and lazy. I'll go run back and get them." So I do. I turn around and I start running 2 miles back onto the trail. So I'm running the trail backwards now to meet them wherever they stopped and started walking. I get to this intersection. Let's say it's like 7:30. It's starting to get dim outside. Uh, I get to this intersection. I just take a quick breather and like, all right, I just finished 14 miles, probably twice what these guys did. Let me just, start walking, jogging to get back to them. And I look to the left on the trail, and there's this guy with a walking stick coming down. And he didn't approach me like in the sense like I'm lost or you lost or any. We're both in the state park. We kind of, you assume the person knows where they are because they just ran out, they took a break, they're about to go forward. But I just checked with him like, hey, have you seen a group of 5 kids? And his response was, oh, you saw them too. Like, that's not a good sign. I was like, do you know where they are? He's like, yeah, they just ran through right here in front of you. I was like, there's no way. I've been standing here for a minute. He's like, have you now? I was like, this isn't going as I expected. I'm not happy I started this conversation. How are you? I've been standing here for 30 seconds to a minute. You can't tell me 5 kids just ran right in front of me. I didn't see it. And I forget where it goes from there, but I just got such creepy vibes from this guy to where I actually just kind of backed up and I didn't even continue with the trail. I just started running back to the parking lot. I pretended to. I went far enough away that I watched him continue down the trail that he was going on. And then I crossed the intersection and like another mile ahead was all the friends. Like, yeah, we never crossed the intersection. So I don't know what this guy saw. I don't know who he saw. I was even more concerned, like, did you guys see 5 more kids running around? They're like, nope. So that was like the other creepy encounter I had in the woods alone. Like this guy, I don't know what he saw, could have done. He had a backpack, could have hurt me. Um, yeah, fun. That was fun being alone in the woods.
Mm.
Such a
Well,
weird conversationalist. Those were not normal. Those were not normal remarks.
no. Well, one last thing to top it off. You had mentioned y'all's RC car experience. I had sort of a similar one. When I was a kid, my mother's second husband, I had a like off-road RC car. It had gotten stuck in the like drainage pipe underneath the driveway, like halfway down. And this is our house and the neighbor's house wide driveway. I'm not about to crawl in that thing. It's upside down. It's not able to be moved. There's nothing we can do to reach it, whatever, without someone crawling in there. We're all like, fuck it, it's gone, whatever. You know how long the batteries in those things last, the rechargeable ones. They don't last a long time, right?
Yeah, they're pretty short lived.
Yeah, that happened about probably 4 or 5 in the afternoon. We go through dinner, go to sleep, everything like that. I wake up the next day earlier than normal as a kid during the summer, so probably like 7 in the morning. I, for the hell of it, I grab the remote control and I pull the trigger in reverse. All of a sudden, from downstairs, I hear the motor running and it launching itself off the top of the entertainment center. The thing is, no one in the family claimed to have gotten the thing out. So how did
Hmm.
it get out of out of the fucking culvert pipe into the house and on top of the entertainment center? No one, not even my mother, definitely couldn't reach it. Her husband at the time was too much of an asshole. He wouldn't have gone to get it. No one knew how the fuck it got back into the house. how did it get in there, and how the fuck did it still have battery?
Mhm.
that's that's what I wanted to know.
That's so funny. I mean, I like those kind of stories. They're like a different tangent from the ones of someone's like, I was asleep and I watched a black figure walk in next to me. It's a different kind of like it's sub paranormal. There's something that could have happened. You just can't figure out a plausible explanation, as opposed to something that's like completely paranormal. So that it's that middle ground I really appreciate. Which to kind of like summarize today's topic is why I really appreciated those missing 411 stories that I've been listening to. In some cases, it reminds me of my memories. In some cases, I'm like, oh, that's just a horrible experience. It's that pseudo realm between plausible and fiction that it's such an exciting area. Um, it just fascinates me. But yeah, I just if you guys don't have any final words, I'll let you speak real quick.
I'm just glad I pushed the reverse button because if I had got it drive forward, it would have gone from one end of the entertainment center to the other, knocking all of the glassware off, and I would have been in so much shit.
No one would have
no.
cared it moved at that point. They would have been upset with whoever put it in reverse.
Oh no, because I put it in reverse, it rolled itself back off the edge that it was on. If I
Oh,
drove forward, it would have gone all the way across, knocking off everything on top of the entertainment center.
gotcha. Whoops. Anything? Any last words, Ari?
Um, let's see. No.
All right. Well, as a reminder, if you guys ever find yourself in the woods alone and you see a gorilla and a bear, ask them for a handshake. Um, God, I
And
just
don't
said that.
climb the stairs.
Yeah, never climb stairs you see in the woods. That is the number one rule if you see them. Don't touch them. Don't
Ooh,
look at them.
stairs.
Just keep going and pretend you didn't see it. Talk about it when you get home. Um, yeah, if you guys have any comments, stories, creepypastas you really like, feel free to share it in the comments of this episode or on any other of our social media platforms. We'd love to hear from you, love to engage. Uh, this has been another episode of Unfiltered Pineapple Podcast with your host, Orik, Matt, and Ari, and we look forward to seeing you guys another time. Have a great day.
Thanks for
Later.
joining.